Venturing beyond the international concert stage, Jin of BTS surprised and amazed the public by appearing as an MC at a wedding. How could a global superstar, synonymous with grand stages, transform into a host at such an intimate and sacred moment? This question immediately arose in many minds, sparking curiosity about Jin's performance on a stage so different from his usual. Recordings and photos circulating on social media showed Jin confidently sporting his signature smile. Dressed in a simple yet elegant suit, Jin didn't just attend the event. He truly took on the important role of MC. From his firm voice when opening the event to his gentleness in guiding the procession, Jin demonstrated that his talent isn't limited to the world of music. The invited guests also seemed enthusiastic, with many praising Jin's flexibility in keeping the atmosphere warm, humorous, yet classy. Jin's presence as an MC at a wedding is considered a rare move for an idol of his stature. Generally, popular figures like Jin attend merely as guests of honor or to offer congratulations. However, this time, he exceeded public expectations by taking on a significant responsibility at the sacred event. Many netizens then wrote comments full of praise, calling Jin a natural MC who can bring joy and comfort without seeming awkward in the slightest. Interestingly, this moment went viral because many felt that Jin's true character was reflected in his role. Known as worldwide handsome, Jin has often been described as friendly, humorous, yet dignified. These traits became even more apparent as he stood before the guests, warmly greeting them one by one and radiating positive energy that made the atmosphere even more memorable. Guests even mentioned that Jin managed to make the wedding feel like a premium event with a personal touch. Jin's role as MC also showcased another side of his career journey. For years, Jin has been known as the main vocalist of BTS, with a melodious voice and consistently captivating stage presence. However, the Korean and international entertainment world has long recognized that Jin has good communication skills, as evidenced by the various variety shows and global interviews he has attended. Now, that experience seems to be a great asset as he is trusted to lead a special moment like a wedding. For many armies, this moment wasn't just a surprise, but a tangible form of humility from a global star. After all, Jin, who is used to performing in front of tens of thousands of concertgoers, was willing to stand before family, relatives, and guests in a much more intimate setting. This move is seen as a symbol that Jin can still maintain closeness with those around him, without being limited by his status as an international celebrity. Waves of praise came from various directions. Netizens wrote that Jin's presence made the wedding feel more alive, with some even calling him a professional MC who happens to be a superstar. A short video showing Jin reciting a prayer and delivering meaningful words to the bride and groom immediately garnered hundreds of thousands of likes and comments within hours. Many felt that Jin's charm isn't only captivating on the concert stage, but also in events that touch the realm of personal life. This phenomenon also sparked interesting discussions among fans and entertainment observers. Does this signal that Jin will venture into the world of professional MCing after his mandatory military service ends? Or is this just a special moment for a close friend or relative? Whatever the answer, it's clear that Jin's performance has recorded yet another proof that he can break professional boundaries and demonstrate a multi-talent rarely possessed by other artists. Undeniably, every step Jin takes is always in the spotlight. But this time, the spotlight feels different. Instead of being about music or a grand stage performance, the public witnessed Jin's human side, which is closer to everyday life. For some, this moment seems to answer that Jin isn't just an idol on stage, but also an individual who can bring happiness to the most precious moments in someone's life. Finally, one thing that concludes from this event is, Jin successfully proved that global popularity doesn't make him lose his personal touch. In fact, through his role as a wedding MC, he showed that warmth, humility, and professionalism can go hand in hand. The public is left wondering, what other surprises will Jin bring in the future? But one thing is certain, this event will always be remembered as a moment where a global superstar was able to make a wedding more special just by his presence. The phenomenon of Jin of BTS reportedly appearing as an MC at a wedding has indeed sparked an extraordinary wave of discussion. However, is all the information we see on our phone screens really happening as it is? Or could this just be a piece of reality exaggerated by social media to create a momentary sensation? This question not only teases curiosity, but also challenges us to reconsider how we view public figures and how we digest information in the digital age. Imagine a short recording that goes viral on TikTok or a video clip from YouTube can become the main source of our beliefs. But are we sure that the image represents the actual event? It could be that Jin was indeed present and took on the role of MC, but there could also be context missing from the broadcast. Did he really lead the entire event, or did he just give a few welcoming remarks that were then cut and packaged as if he hosted the wedding? Doesn't this kind of possibility show how vulnerable we are to being trapped in a narrative shaped by media framing? Furthermore, we must dare to ask, who first spread this information and for what purpose? If the source is fan base accounts or entertainment channels on social media, could there be an interest in gaining clicks, views, or engagement? Why does this kind of news spread so quickly, while clarification from official sources is almost unheard of? Doesn't this raise suspicion that there is an element of engineering to maintain the image of surprise that is always attached to Jin? We also need to reflect, is the public more likely to believe stories that contain dramatic elements than simpler facts? Isn't this tendency often exploited by the media to attract attention? If that's the case, then the Jin becomes MC at a wedding event may not be entirely false, but wrapped in a narrative made in such a way as to appear extraordinary. Are we, as consumers of information, aware of this? Or are we just carried away without asking critical questions? In addition, let's question the credibility of the sources that discuss this event. Many social media now function as the main medium for spreading news, but do they have verification standards like mainstream media? For example, is there official evidence in the form of statements from the bride and groom's family, BTS's agency, or even Jin himself? If not, isn't this information still speculation? Is it appropriate for us to swallow whole something whose truth is still vague just because it is presented with short images and videos? We can also review this phenomenon from a more philosophical point of view. Why is the public so thirsty for surprising stories from their idols? Is it because everyday life feels too flat, so every dramatic story about a public figure seems like an oasis of entertainment? If that's the case, doesn't this open up opportunities for certain parties to manipulate narratives to meet the psychological needs of society? And if that happens, aren't we unknowingly victims as well as perpetrators in this chain of sensational news consumption? Therefore, it is important to ask ourselves, do we really care about the truth? Or are we just looking for sensation from anything related to BTS? If Jin did appear as an MC, of course, that is interesting and worthy of appreciation. What matters is the sensation.